You're listening to the Wandering Wild podcast. Hi, everybody. It's me, Ashley, and welcome to Wandering Wild. I have recorded half of an episode 2 times tonight because I wanted to make an episode about dating while traveling, but it's just not working right now because I have other things on my mind. And so in this episode, I'm going to talk about how I actually feel today. I woke up this morning and I felt like everything was about to fall apart. And I don't even fully know why. But I have a few ideas. I have decided to move out of my work for accommodation and move into a house with my own room. And I'm really excited for it. I think it's going to be really good for me, but also it's a little bit scary. I had to sign a 3-month agreement, and I have not had to commit to anything for the past year. So feeling like I now have a commitment of not just time, but also of money feels like a lot to me. And I feel like I've been kind of procrastinating the commitment. Like, I told the property manager that I wanted the room, and I gave notice at my current position in my current housing. But I feel like the actual commitment, like signing the papers and giving the bond or the deposit, I've really been putting it off. And this morning I woke up and I looked at my phone, which I try not to do in the morning, but I did because I wanted to check the time, and I saw a message from the property manager telling me that it's fine for me to pay the rent when I move in, but to secure the room, she needed me to pay the bond and to sign the papers. And I think this made me feel really anxious because it feels so real. It's like, oh, this is actually happening. Like, it's actually time to make the commitment. It's time to set everything in. It's time to make it real. And beyond the commitment, it's like a financial thing. Like, I don't have tons and tons of money. In fact, I don't have very much money. As you know, because I've talked about this in other episodes, the restaurant I worked at in Sydney burned down. I came here really last minute, and all this was very damaging to my savings, which is totally okay. But I worried also that my choice to leave my free accommodation and to rent a room was irresponsible of me. And I've ran the numbers over and over and over again, and I should be totally fine. Like, I can afford it, but it's still just really scary. But I was like, this will be good for me. I will be able to feel more stable. I can know that I'm here for a certain amount of time, so I don't have to worry about the next steps right now. I can have my own space, which I haven't had in so long. I think that would be really good for Wandering Wild, and it would be really good for me mentally, to just have my own space to go home to. They said specifically in the contract, they said that I can light my incense and that I can light my candles. And so that's something that feels like a really big deal to me. I've been carrying this candle around for literally months that I bought because when I smelled it, I had this vision of me in an amazing room lighting my candle. And so I've been carrying it around, and I can finally light it in my room. And I'm so excited for that. And also, I have my job, they pay me well. I've been getting 5 to 6 days a week, so that's lots of hours. So it's been really good. But seeing that text in the morning just really I don't know, it just really made things real, and it really made me start to freak out. And so I decided that this was going to be a good thing. Okay, so I'm in the morning, I'm already kind of freaking out. But then I'm kind of calming myself down, and I'm like, okay, Ashley, this is what you want. So I signed the papers and I paid the bond. And then I really started to freak out because now it's like really real. And I'm like, well, did I make a mistake? Did I do the right thing? Did I do the wrong thing? Is everything gonna be okay? And so what I did is I left my phone at home and I went to the beach just with my journal, no phone, and I just journaled and I laid on the rocks and I spent time in the sun and it was great. But I started walking back to the hostel and like I felt like physically unsteady. Like I'm walking and I feel like I don't know, like just my whole body, like I don't feel stable emotionally or physically. And I really was like starting to freak out. So then I come back to the hostel and I see a text from my boss. And actually, I had two shifts cut this week. But they texted me, they told me they had a slow week, so they cut some shifts. It's just two shifts. I still had Sunday. I get paid really well on Sundays. And so I was like, okay, like it kind of freaked me out, but I was like, okay, this is going to be okay. So then I come back and I see a message from my manager asking me to work on Tuesday, which maybe this should be a good sign that they are thinking of me and are like putting me on shifts. But I found it kind of weird that they had asked me instead of just rostering me because usually they just roster me a week in advance. Anyways, I won't get super into it. Basically, they haven't completed making the roster. I checked, most of the days aren't rostered, but I saw that I was on Tuesday and I had one on call shift on Friday. And I was like, is this all I'm getting? Because I can't afford to pay rent with this. And so that kind of threw me through another loop. And quickly I realized that, like, there's nothing to worry about yet because they hadn't finished making the roster. So it's still unknown. But ever since they cut those shifts, I have been so scared that they're gonna stop giving me shifts. And I'm like, well, what if I have to find a second job? And you know what? If this happens and I don't have to pay rent, that's fine. But now I have this commitment. So this is all coming down to like my commitment issues. And so now I'm like so scared because let's be real, like if I ran out of money and ended up on the streets, like I could handle that. But what I hate is feeling like someone else was relying on me. Like feeling like now my property manager like needs my rent and like I don't want to let her down. That is what is like freaking me out the most, I feel like. And it's also just stressful because I want to like save for travel and I like I don't know, there's all these things that I want. I want to buy a bicycle and like now my money is so much tighter and I felt really sure that this was the right decision. And then I make it real and then all of a sudden I'm second guessing it and it's just a really stressful way to feel and it's like I don't really know what's next. Like, I don't know if I'm getting rostered more next week, and I don't know if I'm gonna need to find another job. And like, I shouldn't be worrying about all of these things at once, but I do, and it's like so stressful. And so I've just been like anxious all day, and I just keep having this thought of getting stuck in this cycle of work, save, travel, go broke and then just doing it over and over again. Sometimes I like worry that I'm not progressing. And I'm going to say like my fears, but also like I want to be clear that like I have come so far and like I have become one of the people like who I am now is the person that I used to admire most. Like when I was 18, if I knew myself now when I was 18, like I would have been my own idol, like for real. So I have come a long way and I know that I'm progressing and I know that I'm doing a lot and I have grown so much. But like sometimes I just worry that I'm not progressing enough and I just feel like there's no stability. Like my life is so unknown and I don't have any certainty. And like I love that. I love the possibility and I love the excitement and I love the unknown. But like, I don't know, sometimes it's a lot just to not feel stable and to not feel like really taken care of. Like, you just I guess that's being an adult, but just like taking care of yourself all the time and like not knowing what comes next and like not knowing if my income is all of a sudden gonna disappear, like what happened in Sydney. Like the restaurant just burned down. What do you do about that? Not knowing if I'm gonna get fired, not knowing if I'm just gonna stop being scheduled or if I'm gonna get sick. Yeah, I just lack stability, and sometimes it's really scary. Well, sometimes I just like, I wonder if this lifestyle is sustainable. And it makes me question, am I actually building something or am I just repeating something? I love travel and I chose this life intentionally and I will keep choosing it intentionally because I love it and I gained so much from it. And like, travel is the love of my life. But now I'm seeing the harder side of it now that it's been almost a full year. Like, it's not just a 3-month trip like I used to do, it's my life. It's not just a short piece of it, it's like the full picture is travel. That is like, where do I live? Right now, I live in Australia, but like a few months ago, I was living in Thailand, and like before that, I was living in the Philippines. I am starting to see the harder side of it, and I love this life, but I don't know if I want to feel this unstable forever. And I think that today just feels heavier because all of this is hitting at once. I don't know. I don't think I'm really stuck. I think, I just think I'm in the part of, a, I'm just like in the part of the process that feels really uncertain. I'm just still figuring it all out. Not everything has to be solved right now. And like my life changes so much so quickly. I was talking about this with some of my friends. Like I was in Sydney worrying about what I should do and where I should go. And then I'm in Sydney worrying that I don't have any income. And then all of a sudden I'm in Queensland and I am worried about getting a job. And then I have a job and I'm worried about working so much because I'm so burned out and I'm working at two different places and it's just so stressful. So anyways, my point is now I'm worried about this. And then a week, my concern might be completely different. I'll probably find something new to worry about and this will all be fine. But I'm scared and I feel unstable and I don't feel grounded. Not today, at least. But some days I do. Like, I really love the island and I feel like there's a reason I'm here. But I don't know. I think when things feel unstable externally, everything internally starts to feel a little bit unstable too. I love Magnetic Island, but there's something in me that wants to go home, and I love travel, but I don't know, that contradiction is confusing. I think I'm a little bit homesick, and that's normal, but it's confusing because I want to keep traveling. There's so much I want to see. And I make these plans in my head of like where I'm gonna go next and all the things I'm gonna do and then what sequence I'm gonna do them and when I'm gonna do them. But part of me wants to go home because I miss it so much and I miss my family and I miss feeling safe. I can love where I am and still feel like I want to go home at the same time. Maybe I miss having a base and I miss knowing where home is. And I miss being taken care of. And I miss familiarity. But I figured things out before. Like I said, I always find something to stress about, and it always changes. And so I trust so much that everything will be okay. And I trust myself to work through things as they come. Nothing has actually fallen apart yet. It's just sometimes anxiety can be so powerful, even when nothing is wrong yet. You can worry about all the things that might go wrong. I'm just, I'm okay, but I'm just in the uncertainty. And that's okay, right? That's part of life. And that's part of travel, part of this lifestyle. I think I'm just in a moment where things feel more uncertain than usual. And I'm dealing with challenges that should feel normal, like having a private room and paying rent. But to me, they feel so big because my comfort zone is so different. My comfort zone is sleeping in a room with three strangers, flying to a new country, and navigating language barriers. So I'm dealing with things that feel really scary, but maybe feel like they shouldn't feel so scary. I don't have clarity for you right now. I just wanted to be honest about where I am today because I didn't feel right getting in front of the camera and talking to you about something that is so far out of my mind right now. I wanted to talk to you about dating, and I think that this is an interesting subject, traveling while dating, and the episode will come, but I feel like I have more important things to worry about in the moment, I guess. So I just wanted to be honest about where I am. And I don't know, I guess hopefully, maybe some of you can relate to this and it can help you in some way. If you listen this far, I want to thank you, especially because this episode is so in the moment of what I'm feeling right now. So if this is something you listen to, I feel supported. And so I want to thank you for that. And if you want to support me further, leave my podcast a review, follow it on Spotify, or engage with me on Instagram at Ashley Wandering Wild. Thank you so much. I will see you next time.